Right now, in the depths of our solar system, something is unfolding that humanity has never witnessed before in the entire history of astronomy. And I am not exaggerating when I say this could rewrite the very foundations of physics, overturning our understanding of reality. An interstellar wanderer, designated as 3I Atlas, has suddenly triggered a phenomenon so alien, so unimaginable, that the greatest minds of the planet are scrambling for any kind of explanation, desperately clinging to the familiar laws of nature. But here is what does not let me sleep at night. Me, a theoretical physicist, a person who has devoted an entire life to studying the cosmos. Every rational scenario we have tried to construct falls apart the moment it collides with the actual observations. All models turn to dust. All equations collapse into chaos. And we are left face to face with a question that makes even seasoned researchers fall silent. What exactly did 3I Atlas activate as it passed through our solar system? And what is even more disturbing, why is the strength of this phenomenon increasing as we approach October 29, the day of perihelion, when this mysterious wanderer will be at its closest point to our sun? Allow me to take you back to October 15, 2 weeks before the moment of truth. The Hubble Space Telescope, retuned specifically to track this celestial visitor, recorded something that, by every canon of electromagnetic physics, simply cannot exist. It wasn't just a ripple in space. Even that alone would have been a sensation. And it wasn't waves in the very fabric of space-time, something we could at least try to understand through Einstein's equations. No, what Hubble detected turned out to be a disturbance in something far stranger. The electromagnetic field around 3I Atlas began to behave as though space itself had transformed into a colossal ocean and the comet into a stone thrown onto its surface. Waves spread out from it in all directions, steady and measured, like the breathing of an invisible titan. These oscillations stretched for millions of kilometers, forming patterns that looked almost alive, as if the universe itself were responding to an alien call. The first anomaly was noticed by Dr. Sarah Chen from the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. She told me about it in person yesterday, and in her voice, excitement and fear were strangely intertwined, as if she saw not just a deviation in the data, but a message. "Myra," she said, "we're registering coherent electromagnetic oscillations coming from 3I Atlas. Their frequency is 1.42 gigahertz. That's the hydrogen line, the most fundamental frequency in the universe." But then came the part that sent a chill down my spine. "Here is what does not fit at all," Chen continued. "Natural emission sources at this frequency always show random fluctuations, chaotic noise, disorder. But what we're seeing now is phase coherence, a stability that persists for hours. This is not a quirk of nature. This is organization." Stop and really think about that. A frequency of 1.42 gigahertz is precisely the signal that appears when the electron spin in a hydrogen atom flips. Scientists call it a universal frequency, because any technologically advanced civilization in the universe would recognize it instantly. For decades, researchers in the SETI program have monitored this very band, hoping to catch artificial transmissions, messages from distant worlds. But now this signal has not come from the depths of intergalactic space. It is coming from within our own solar system. And here we are, an interstellar object passing through our system is emitting on this very frequency with impossible coherence, as if obeying some higher design. According to Dr. Chen's calculations, the probability of such a signal arising by chance is less than 10 million. But as it turned out, the electromagnetic anomaly is only the tip of the iceberg, the first layer of a mystery that grows deeper and darker with each passing day. On October 18, just 3 days after Hubble's first detection, something happened that silenced even the skeptics. Across the northern hemisphere, amateur radio operators began reporting the same thing: strange interference flaring up across several frequency bands at once. These anomalies lasted exactly 47 seconds and then vanished without a trace, as if someone had cut a tiny slice of time out of the radio spectrum. And what was especially striking, these interferences weren't chaotic bursts scattered randomly. When scientists plotted the coordinates on a map, an arc-shaped pattern emerged, stretching along latitudes from 35 to 55 degrees north. That arc pointed precisely to the region of the sky where 3I Atlas was at that very moment. One of those who managed to capture this phenomenon was Marcus Rodriguez, a telecommunications engineer from Colorado with 30 years of experience in radio signal analysis. He sent me his recordings, and I'll admit, when I first listened to them, an icy shiver ran down my back. This interference was not solar flares, not ionospheric disturbances, and not simple static. It had structure, a mathematical one. Rodriguez performed a Fourier transform, decomposing the signal into its frequency components, and the result was staggering. In the spectrum, he saw repeating sequences of pulses, separated by precisely defined gaps: 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. The Fibonacci sequence, a mathematical pattern that runs through everything from galactic spirals and flower petals to seashells and the structure of DNA. And now it appears in the radio noise coming from an interstellar object that has just entered our system. Coincidence? Or is someone trying to send a message using the language of the universe itself? Yes, finding the Fibonacci sequence encoded in radio interference that is synchronized with the position of an interstellar body already takes us beyond the realm of coincidence. This is a step past the edge of the probable, into the domain of the truly inexplicable. And yet, as a theoretical physicist, I am obliged to remain faithful to the scientific method. My training demands that before I accept the incredible, I must exhaust every possible natural explanation. So, let us examine which natural processes could produce all of this. If we want to preserve our familiar picture of the universe, the first hypothesis would be a burst of solar activity
coinciding with 3I Atlas's approach. But the data are merciless. The Sun in this cycle is unusually quiet. Not a single major coronal mass ejection, not one powerful flare during the critical period. The Parker Solar Probe has recorded a smooth, stable solar wind with no significant fluctuations, no anomalies. So, this version collapses immediately. Fine, then we move on. Perhaps we're witnessing a rare type of cometary activity. Ordinary comets emit water vapor, carbon dioxide, dust particles, but not organized electromagnetic signals exhibiting phase coherence and clean mathematical structure.
The signals was so regular that her team half-jokingly labeled the source LGM1, Little Green Man. They were embarrassed even to consider an artificial origin. Too fantastical, too much like Hollywood, not like serious science. But you know what turned out later? The mere fact that they dared to consider the incredible was not a mistake. It was simply premature. We later learned that the signals came from pulsars, rotating neutron stars emitting radio beams with astounding precision. We all exhaled. Nature, once again, proved to be brilliant but understandable. However, now the situation is different. Once pulsars were understood, they fit neatly into existing physics. Yes, they were exotic, but they did not break any fundamental law. Everything we are now seeing with 3I Atlas does not fit at all. Not approximately, not with adjustments. This is a simultaneous violation of several independent physical principles. And that is the crucial point. When several laws begin to crack at once, it no longer looks like nature's whim. It looks like the signature of technology. This is what an encounter with intention, not just process, would look like. As if that were not enough, a few hours ago, I received an urgent message from colleagues at the successor to the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. What they reported changed everything. Reborn in a new form, Arecibo has spent the past weeks continuously monitoring 3I Atlas using radar observations, tracking its approach to perihelion. And they recorded something that defies straightforward interpretation. When scientists send radar pulses toward the object, expecting ordinary echoes to measure distance and velocity with exquisite precision, something strange happens. The return signal does not come back the way it should. It does not simply reflect off a solid surface. It does not just scatter off dusty, rubble-strewn cometary nucleus. Instead, the return signal carries signs of modulation, as if someone or something is altering the radar echo before sending it back. Dr. Lisa Park, head of the radar group, described it like this. Imagine shouting into a cave and hearing the sound come back. That's a normal echo. Now, imagine shouting the same thing, but the echo comes back with extra words you never spoke. That's what's happening to us. We send a simple pulse, and we receive a complex signal that contains information we did not put there. Information. That word hangs in the air like a question mark burned into the cosmos. What information? What is 3I Atlas trying to say? And most importantly, to whom? If we assume this really is a form of communication, then right now, cryptographers and information theorists are working on the data. They're searching for repeating structures, arithmetic sequences, any patterns that might indicate meaningful content. But even before any decoding is complete, the mere fact of modulation already
changes everything. We have crossed a line that humanity has never crossed before. And now, perhaps, comes the most unsettling realization of all. Since October 3rd, when 3I Atlas passed about 29 million kilometers from Mars, the electromagnetic disturbances we observe have been behaving in a way that natural processes simply should not. As perihelion on October 29th draws closer, these disturbances are not fading, as one would expect, but instead intensifying, spreading outward as concentric waves that now cover nearly 40 million kilometers of space. Dr. Robert Tanaka from the Tokyo Institute for Cosmic Ray Research modeled these waves, and his preliminary conclusions are frightening and unambiguous. These are not random electromagnetic fluctuations. This is structure. This is regularity. These waves are not just propagating, they are behaving like a signal. They possess the characteristics of a carrier wave, the same kind used by radio stations to transmit information through the noise of the ether. What truly robs me of sleep is this: the energy required to generate such electromagnetic disturbances, stretched over tens of millions of kilometers, exceeds anything any known source could produce. We are talking about power comparable to the energy output of entire planetary civilizations, not individual probes, spacecraft, or even fleets. And what is even more terrifying is that the intensity of these waves continues to rise as we approach perihelion, as if the whole system is charging up, preparing for some kind of peak event. Planetary civilizations. Let those words sink in for a moment. We are not discussing radio noise from something the size of a satellite or even a massive ship. We are talking about an output comparable to the aggregate energy potential of an industrialized world. And that leads us to a question far beyond astronomy, a question about humanity's very place in the universe. What exactly did 3I Atlas activate when it flew past Mars on October 3rd? I use the word activate deliberately, not created or generated, because the more data we collect, the clearer it becomes that 3I Atlas did not produce these phenomena by itself. It triggered them, as if it switched on a mechanism that was already there. Something that had been waiting for its moment, dormant, patient. Electromagnetic waves are now coming not only from the object itself, but from numerous points scattered across the entire inner belt of the solar system. As if its passage flipped an invisible switch, and a vast, ancient, networked organism awoke, one's existence we had never even suspected. This hypothesis frightens me more than all the others. It implies that there may be infrastructure within our solar system that we did not build and have not yet detected. Ancient technology, perhaps millions of years old, left behind by those who came before us. Observation stations, relay nodes, silent beacons, waiting for a signal, and now finally awakened. And now 3I Atlas, with its hollow interior, its impossible deceleration, and its precisely tuned trajectory that passed Mars and now rushes toward the Sun, looks more and more like a key. A key designed specifically to activate an ancient network slumbering in the depths of our solar system. But let me be as honest as possible. None of the observations I have described is by itself definitive proof of an artificial origin. Each of them can, in principle, be attempted to explain by unknown natural mechanisms, some new physics not yet discovered. The universe has surprised us before, offering natural explanations for phenomena that once seemed impossible, and it will surely surprise us again. But there is one however. As a person who has spent decades studying the fundamental laws of reality, I understand something important. When several independent anomalies occur simultaneously, when familiar explanations collapse in different areas of physics, and when the pattern of these violations so neatly matches what we would expect from designed systems, not random natural processes, then the probabilistic balance shifts sharply. And right now, that balance is pointing in a direction that challenges everything we thought we knew about our supposed cosmic solitude. Now, pay attention. The next 8 days are decisive. They could change the course of human history. October 29th is the day toward which everything has been building. On that day, 3I Atlas will reach perihelion, its closest point to the Sun, at roughly 0.16 astronomical units. At that moment, it will be moving at maximum speed, enduring extreme solar heat, absorbing radiation fluxes unlike anything it has experienced during its entire journey through our system. And most importantly, at that moment, it will be on the far side of the Sun, invisible from Earth. All our ground-based telescopes will effectively be blinded, staring into the blinding glare of our daytime star. We face a period of silence, a gap in observations lasting several